everyone, welcome. Thank you for coming. See friends and new faces. It's very nice to be here with this amazing panel. I will just be here to showcase the amazing knowledge that they are here to share. So thank you for coming. Briefly, you heard who I am. For those who don't know me, Valerie, Zakka, Zakka Technologies, and the founder of the Industrial Kingdom Consulting Services. And we're a consortium of consultants offering services to the agro-food sector. Many of us are around here, so that's amazing. And yeah, briefly, that's about me. Today, we are here to discuss the very pressing and current topic of open innovation with the very finely selected panel. So without further ado, I will be introducing our panelists. First of all, welcome. Welcome and thank you for your time. We have two panelists from Lebanon and one from Algeria and one from Italy. So we're going to be discussing this topic from various perspectives, which is really interesting for us. So starting with Ursula. I think many of us already know Ursula. Mrs. Ursula Al-Hajj is the Director of Career and Placement Office and Entrepreneurship Center at USG, the St. Joseph University of Beirut. Ursula is a leading voice in entrepreneurship and innovation with over 2 decades of experience in education, employability, and organizational development. And she currently serves as the Director of the Career and Placement Office and the Entrepreneurship Center at USG, where her efforts foster entrepreneurial mindsets among the many students that go through there and support innovation-driven ecosystems. So special things about Ursula, she has held many high-impact roles, including, and that was surprising, Head of Innovation Office at the Presidency of Ecuador, where she co-led the national e-government transformation in collaboration with international experts. And as vice president of the CODEF in Ecuador and similar enterprises in Peru, she led advisory efforts to elevate over 100 institutions to global performance standards using the EFQM model, of which she is a master assessor. There's a lot more to say about Ursula, but for the sake of the time we have, I'm going to welcome you with that. And moving to Nesrine, first of all, welcome from Algeria. Nesrine Ziad is the Programs Director at Leancubator, an Algeria innovation ecosystem. Nesrine has launched the Algeria Startup Challenge, one of the country's largest startup movements, and currently serves as Program Director at Leancubator, an innovation hub specializing in design and implementation of green and blue economy support programs, and it is a pioneer in the deployment of open innovation, which relates to today's topic. Nesrine represents Algeria in the African Women's Leadership Program and the Program for Innovative Women in the Arab region. She was honored by the President of Algeria in 2024 for her contribution to innovation and entrepreneurship in the country. Welcome. Next, we have Ivan. How do you like to pronounce your name?
Just like you did.
Okay. Ivan Fakhoury is the Assistant Director of the LAU Industrial Hub, the Director of the LaunchX, and Assistant Professor of Engineering at LAU. He holds a PhD in human-robot interaction and a master's degree in advanced mechanical engineering from the University of Leeds in UK, and many other things. A bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering, and his academic and professional expertise lies at the intersection of engineering, emerging technologies, and innovation. In his current position as Assistant Director of the LAU Industrial Hub, Director of LaunchX, and Assistant Professor of Mechanical Engineering, his work in all these positions is centered on bridging academia and industry, fostering strategic partnerships, and helping startups integrate AI, VR, AR, and robotics into real-world applications. He actively collaborates with industry partners, investors, and academic institutions to strengthen Lebanon's entrepreneurial ecosystem, drive technology commercialization, and support the growth of deep tech startups. So welcome, Ivan. And last but not least, we have Donato. Welcome, Donato, from Italy. Donato Macario is the Open Innovation and Change Management expert at Siam Bari in Italy. Donato is an innovation expert with over 10 years of experience and a multidisciplinary background that includes service design, trend watching, design thinking, well-being, and coaching. That's a vast expertise, Donato. He has collaborated with intergovernmental organizations and has experience on national and international incubators and innovation hotspots. He has managed open innovation programs involving students and companies from across the Mediterranean. And as an innovation expert at SIAM, a Mediterranean intergovernmental organization, Donato designs programs to support startups and open innovation initiatives in the agriculture and food sector. He also teaches and designs and manages master's, short courses for international students, and training initiatives for innovation managers. What struck me the most about Donato's bio, which was special, is his focus on people. And for Donato, he says it is essential to invest, of course, not only in technology, but also in the invaluable asset present in every organization, people. So he is championing people-driven innovation. And this is as fast as I could with all the great things we have to say about our panel. And thank you to our audience, which is growing, for being here. All right, so let's start with the meat. Okay? Let's go, let's do this. So I'm going to start with a question to Donato. So open innovation is a big topic these days. Can you tell us a bit more about it? What are the various models and the key factors that ensure its success in application?
Could you hear me? Yes, I think yes. Okay, thank you for the brief presentation, and thank you to Veritech to this amazing opportunity. And yes, open innovation I would like to define as a strategic and cultural approach based on the fact that today, company to survive and thrive is no longer sufficient just to make innovation starting from internal. So they need to find out some way to relate also with external. Externally means also find out new innovation players to collaborate with. And this innovation player can be, for example, university, innovation center, but also really, really important startups, for example. This concept of open innovation is not so new, has been introduced in 2003 by Henry Chisburg with an amazing book that I really suggest to read, but has been spread, I would like to say, just in the last years. Also because we have seen that in the world that we are living today, a world that we define VUCA, where velocity, uncertainty, ambiguity, complexity has become is the new normal.
Yes.
And so in this kind of world, the competitive advantage that for the company, for example, used to come from technology is no longer sufficient. And they need to speed up this kind of innovation, and they can find out new source of innovation in collaboration with the external. Mm-hmm. How we do, for example, inside SIAM, this kind of open innovation? We like to do mainly in two ways. One that I like to call exploration means every time we start from the innovation needs of the companies, and, for example, we put together students that, for example, can solve this kind of innovation needs. Yes. We use, for example, we have like a master degree at Siambari that is focused on open innovation and youth entrepreneurship. We have a module of 3 months in which we start from this kind of challenges, and we use a mix of design thinking plus lean startup to solve this kind of challenges. And it's really particular because we need also a network of experts that can support from one side company and also the students from the process. And this is why, for example, also with Veritech, with Leancubator, we dedicate also a lot of time in also investing in teaching how to be like an innovator coach. So yes. This means also to teaching also to create new experts. And another way of making open innovation more impactful is the collaboration between already existing company and startup. And the model is venture clienting. For example, you have a really big project that is going on that is called Startup 10. That is a project that is based in 3 countries, Africa, Middle East, and Balkan area, in which we have involved like more than 21 incubators in these places. We have select 140 startups among like 700 applications. And after we select, we create like a community of Italian company, because our aim is really often to bring Italian companies to understand the potential of innovation of foreign countries like Africa, Balkan, and Middle East. And for us, and also for me, and my role is also working to fight the stereotype that sometimes Italian companies have in relation with these countries.
Yes.
And
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for fighting, because they can then source probably things from Lebanon as well and from the region. Great. So thank you for that, Donato. And we're going to be kind of building up on what you said with asking a question to Ursula. How can universities, you have fans, how can universities evolve from knowledge providers to active co-creators? You know, because these days, even us as parents, we are thinking, you know, really, is the university worth the kids the time and the investment? Sometimes, you know, people can just specialize in something in the digital world and not go to university and make lots of money. So how can that happen to offer that to students?
Thank you, Valerie, so much for this question. That is very interesting and important for every university to think about it on an execution level and on a strategy level. So I'm going to talk a little bit how we can go from the smoothest, easiest way to transform education into a place of knowledge sharing, innovation, to things that are more complicated and needs additional investment. So the basics, we start with integrating real-world problems into the classroom and trying to find solutions for them. And this could be simple and applicable in any university or program. For example, in our case, we have in various programs, including engineering, science, agriculture program, and more especially in the health programs, where we bring in companies that would share their challenges, students would work on these challenges, propose solution, and support implementation. A special program that we've designed with the dentistry students, where they go into the lab to create a solution for a real problem during a whole year with a faculty member and a dentist.
That's amazing.
So this is something really important because we are solving a real problem, and not in an hour or in a hackathon in 1 day or 2 days.
Yes, totally.
It's in 8 months. With
so
support.
They will go through the process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a whole process. You have the professionals there, you have the academicians there, and you have the students there trying to make innovation and change. We go to a second level, is when the university becomes an integral part in the discussion about challenges. So we need to understand what are the challenges we are facing. We need to understand the details, what's happening in the ground. We need to be there. So various programs we have implemented around the university. We do a problemathon, but we need to change the name, I guess.
Yes.
Where in every single campus, we bring in a group of companies and NGOs to discuss the challenges they are going through.
So maybe our other panelists, can you all give us some ideas of what similar initiatives you are doing in your programs?
Well, I would like to comment just one last fast point is whenever we're talking about expensive programs, and that's when the investment comes into university. In creation of labs, we have 52 labs and 4 hospitals where students are an integral part of the reality. So they are not disconnected working into the classroom, but they have the reality of the market with them.
You are doing this now in USG?
So currently we have 52 labs, among them 24 related to medical, 12 related to engineering, where there is collaboration between university and the industry. There are 1 hospital, 4 affiliated hospitals, and 5 centers, among them the dentistry center that receive over 300 patients per day that receive support by students. Mm-hmm. And that's where the student, there's museums, restaurants, so students are living the challenges, and they are part of this community that is living the day-to-day of the businesses, the challenges, and looking for solutions that can be shared later on with the market.
Yes. Seeing this model, I think it is being replicated in other, that was my question for our other panelists. Ivan, for example.
Sure. I think the question was, just to recap, the question was how can universities go from educators to also co-creators, correct?
Yes, and based on what Ursula explained they are doing, I would like to know if you are doing something similar.
I can tell you what we're doing. At the LAU, we have something called the LAU Industrial Hub. That's the business arm of LAU, so to speak. We are the bridge between industry and academia for LAU. Think of us as an outsourcing company where we basically open innovate for every startup and SME that comes out that needs help. So whatever the company is, we basically can solve their problems using our faculty and staff. Going back to the question, that's exactly what we do. So it's not about education, classes, exams, quizzes, and that's not enough. We need to work with industry, to create opportunities for our students before they graduate, and that's what we do at the Industrial Hub. The link is very important. We cannot let go of industry. We cannot just teach and hope maybe our students are going to graduate. One internship is enough. One internship in the summer is not enough for our students. They need to actually work for companies while they study. And that's what we do at the Industrial Hub. We provide those opportunities to work with real companies, get real results, and get paid at the same time, students and faculty.
So students, not people coming to you.
Students.
You are actually involving
our
your
students. Yeah, our students.
And Donato, do you have any similar initiatives in Siam?
I will see yours. Yes, as I told you before, we are creating a lot of initiatives to foster like this capability, for example, for students to create a startup. Not just because we believe that young people can create a startup, because it's really interesting. And yesterday we were discussing here, like the average of a successful startup is around 40. But if we can create a protected environment in which people inside the university can start to create a business, I think it's really, really powerful.
Maybe also without failing, without being scared to fail. It's kind of like, you said, a safe environment.
Yeah,
no?
we need to foster this culture of failure, because just through fail, we can learn.
Yeah.
And making people fail when they are young in a protected environment, it's something really important. Also because this approach to create a startup, it's really important also in already existing company, but it's something that probably we can discuss also later. But yes, we like to create safety environment to test ideas and create a startup.
And how about at the Leancubator? Are you collaborating with any universities to create some similar initiatives?
Yes, definitely, because I think that universities are mostly right now asked to be more as an integrated innovation hub, as we tend to see challenges are growing, so we need interdisciplinary problem-solving mechanism. We need more applied research because technically the university in a historical fact was only dedicated for training, maybe some fundamental research. Maybe some researcher here will be saying, research needs to be independent from private also funding, but we need to say that today association between the university, the academia, and the industry is more than obligatory. Also, co-designing curriculums that are more aligned with the real-world problems, and also, of course, open innovation. When the university become open to its external ecosystem, we are seeing today, for example, in Finland, some industry innovation led in campus. MIT research is also co-funded by the industry. In Algeria, in my home country, so in Algeria, we are currently, since 2 years, have established a new law that allows university to be an economic and industrial institution that is able to commercialize IP models. So basically, commercializing patents, commercializing prototypes, and also having co-ventures with startups, etc. So it's models of co-propriety. So here what we are seeing currently is that university is really shifting into a real economic players that has its words in the innovation ecosystem.
You know, through Nesrine, I didn't know that. I discovered that Algeria is really advanced on innovation and entrepreneurship culture. So it was nice for me to discover that, and I think you will benefit as well listening. So kind of delving a bit deeper in that topic, I'll address Evan. In what ways are the industrial hubs like the LAU Industrial Hub helping companies and startups to team up with academia to create real market-ready concepts, like away from the traditional R&D? Can we have another functioning mic? We have one now, right? Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you.
Good. Can you repeat the question?
Yes.
Too focused on the mic.
Yeah. In what ways are industrial hubs like yours, like the LAU Industrial Hub, bringing together these players, the academia, the startups, and the established companies to create market-ready concepts?
Yeah, that's pretty much what we do, actually.
To avoid the in-house R&D.
Yes, exactly. So in-house anything for companies is the anti-open innovation. It's okay to do it yourself, that's fine. But sometimes if you do it yourself, it's going to be slower, more expensive, and it's just going to be bad. Not everyone is perfect at everything. If you're a software company, you can't go ahead and do your marketing strategy. If you're a technology company, you can't go ahead and do testing on something else. It doesn't make sense. So usually companies need to outsource, yeah? And this is where we come in. This is one of our services. What we do is we provide some sort of an outsourcing service, software, hardware, testing, whatever you want to call it. Anything goes for these companies, any company. So we are that glue, we are that bridge in the middle. What we do is these companies come to us, or we reach out to them to help them. They need something done, yeah? So they want to build a robot. They want to have an AI-powered app or something. And it's not their expertise, you know? It doesn't have to be their expertise. So they come to us. What we do is we have something called industry pods at university. So we put together a team of experts. Industry pods, like a pod, yeah. So we put together, let's say, 1 or 2 top AI faculty experts. And then we recruit also 5 or 6 top AI computer science engineering students. And these people work together night and day until they deliver that project for the company. We're talking market ready. We're not talking just R&D. We're talking they build something depending exactly on what the client needs, delivered, shipped to the happy client. And we do that at a very affordable price. Why? Because we're a university. We operate at cost pretty much, plus 10%. So we're not doing this for profit. We need to do this because we need to innovate. This is part of our DNA, basically.
Can you give us some examples of actual products?
Plenty of examples. Actually, 4 or 5 of the companies' booths here are our clients today.
Mean, for example.
صراحة في كذا شركة. I forgot their names. Ali, Dr. Amoure, directors here.
Like this way too, the audience and
worry about
whoever
it.
will watch us can get inspired of what they can come to you with.
I can tell you what they are. Forget about the names.
Yeah, no names. No,
So
we
yeah.
want examples.
So one of the companies, we have designed a full system for manufacturing, for processing the equipment. One is for packaging. We've designed the strategies for companies. We've designed the social media strategy for a different company. We've built from scratch and rolled out to UN Women sanitation pad machine for women in underdeveloped
that
areas.
was with you?
That was us. Not me, but that was us,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know.
Not me, yeah.
No, you, LAU.
We've built a couple of AI-powered apps. We built a few AI, let's say, custom GPTs for companies, like chatbots for different companies who aren't really in technology. We've built a robot for solar cleaning. So solar panels need cleaning, right? So these cleaners, usually people clean them with their hands. So we've built a robot that does the cleaning for these companies at the industrial hub. This is just to name a few. We're literally in every industry. Why? Because we have every industry at LAU. We have every department, every faculty, every school, every lab to our disposal, and we use them.
Can you walk us through very briefly the process of a company
Sure,
coming
easy.
to you with
So the
concept?
company has an idea. They want something done. They reach out to us. They tell us about their problem, what they need done. We have a first meeting. We see how we can help them first. They understand what we can do, and we understand what they need. We write down what they need, the requirements. We go do our own research about this, see what we need in terms of equipment, in terms of manpower, students, faculty. We get back to them with a timeline, with a proposal. They accept, they agree, we sign, we get done, we get to work.
So this is for an established company. Then if
This is for any شركة مسجلة. So
what about startups?
Startups, of course. Most of our companies are startups. We have SMEs, and we have a few also large corporations. It doesn't matter. Outsourcing is outsourcing. If you need something big or small, it doesn't really matter. We're not in the habit of picking.
And they can also launch their product from the industrial hub?
We can help them launch. We can help them do the testing. We can help them only in R&D. Whatever they need, it depends on the phase that they're in. Whatever they need to do something that they don't want to do, don't feel like doing, or don't know how to do, we can do it.
That's amazing. Thank you. So now we're going to go more deeper in the topic of open innovation now. So we kind of started warming up about how it's being applied and where and who are the players. I will ask Nesrine, why is open innovation such a powerful lever for emerging ecosystems? And what best practices have you observed through Leancubator to foster a collaborative open innovation culture?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. First of all, I think that emergent ecosystems have an important problematic. It's lack of resources, lack of funding. We are seeing startups struggling accessing fundings. So I think open innovation can play a great role of allowing to those startups to have.
Can I interrupt you? Can we define what do we mean by emerging ecosystems?
Ecosystems
in this context?
That are in phase of construction because they were fragmented, not constituted, no existence of regulatory framework. So currently we are seeing in many ecosystems in this region that there is initiatives that have been established by public or also by private to make this ecosystem more organized, work together, not in silo. So basically it's this, and what we are seeing is first, so the startups don't have access to funding.
We can't hear you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like
and now?
that. Okay.
It's
Good.
better?
Yeah.
Okay. So open innovation can play a great role into substituting this lack of funding, into allowing those startups to have first a client, reinforce their traction. It's also a great way in which big companies, but also academia, align their experience, resources with the know-how of the startup and the agility of the startups. This allowed to have a better and faster, optimized market access for the solution, and because we know that time matters when it comes to innovation in many sectors. Something that is also very important is that open innovation today is a great way to share risks together, share resources, and innovate more efficiently. And through our experience at Leancubator, since 2021, we have implemented, designed, operated something around 30 open innovation programs that were mainly with big companies. So first, the main important thing as best practice that have been identified is the fact that we assume that not all parties know it all. When it comes to startup, when it comes to institution, when it comes to academia or even corporate, big corporate, we work first through capacity building, executive workshops, etc., to make them know what is open innovation first. Secondly, we work through reverse pitch, which means that we design programs based on challenges, which means that we go to a company, make audits, see what in which part of their value chain they need, I don't know, solution, bring more digital, bring more sustainable practices, etc. And from the other hand, we go bring startup that can match these needs. Something also that is very, very important to consider is to align the comprehension, but also the different outcomes that is awaited from those programs between the different parties and engage, specifically in corporate, have an internal engagement with the party, and this usually needs that the corporate integrate open innovation in their own strategy, not doing it like it's in CSR or doing it for the PR or I don't know, but do it really to experiment together, to bring solutions together, to work on solutions together. And something that is also very, very important is that we are trying also to teach startups to be more oriented through metrics, results, and to really focus on those aspects. Because sometimes we are seeing startups working and talking a lot about impact, but at the end, is there a real business model that can be established behind this? Exactly. So I think it's also considering that the other party is also seeing and searching for an opportunity, and this opportunity needs to be business. So this is also some things we are working on with startups. Of course, I think the regulatory aspect is also a very important side of the best practices we are seeing locally, and basically it's this.
So there is one specific point that I would like to ask our panelists as well. Have you noticed that the big companies, have they resisted the open innovation concept, or are they adopting it? Like, what would you say, if any of you would like to comment? How are the big organizations taking on open innovation? I mean, because at this point, students, academia, and startups will be benefiting, and they're open to that because they're innovative by nature. What about the big ones, the big companies?
The challenge is how we can grab, how we can steal from the world of startups and apply it also to SMEs. Yes. And putting together as the cluster, because it's really difficult to find a single SMEs that can invest the right amount of money. But if we go and if we think in terms of cluster, probably we can collect money and we can work together.
Whenever we're talking about big companies, usually they have a challenge with their structure, with the information when they need to collaborate. So what we work with them are specific programs. We need to have it well designed with the specific challenge with them, with the information and the contact people that can provide it. So it's a special design when it's a big company. When it's a medium company and growing, they have a different challenge. These companies sometimes are too busy with what they are doing before collaborating or going into open innovation, and they are structuring. So working with companies that are small companies or structured programs with big companies, for example, resource group, they have their own incubator, and they do collaboration. And there are many other companies that do similar things. They incubate, they collaborate, but definitely the structuring of the program is a key element with big companies.
Yeah, I think that's kind of touches on the answer of what I was looking for, because Nesrine brought this up.
Can I add a little thing? Is that I think that open innovation is also a way towards big companies to say also, you are not only here in a country or whatever, in exploitation phase. You need to be in exploration, and this is something very important. Talking about the fact that R&D need to be localized. We are seeing it with the different geopolitical crises. R&D need to be localized. Transfer of technology is very important for the development. And I think open innovation is a great way for big companies to compensate this and shift from this exploitation only, but also explore this market with startups, SMEs, and help them also grow mutually.
What's the role of open innovation in regions facing economic and political instability?
That's a beautiful question. Especially that we've been living in crisis for the last 5-6 years. And open innovation was one of the big solutions that we had to go through in Lebanon. Here I talk about the importance of university open innovation and not only technological innovation. Well, actually, in the medical field that I really like, there was a lot of innovation from the field. These are people on the ground with the people who are suffering, who have problems, social people, nurses, physiotherapists. They know what's happening on the ground, they see it, and they can propose solutions and collaborate with companies. Here I can mention few of our great entrepreneurs as well that are from fields that are not the classic engineering field or business field. We have here with us Wasim Al-Hajj. He's a physiotherapist, and he's a great entrepreneur. He's the owner of Agonista. I would recommend you to speak with him
What is it called?
later. Agonista.
Okay.
So get to know him. We have Hussein Al-Hajj, which is another great entrepreneur that is here with us as well. Also, meet him, has an app called Awfarli. I'm promoting our guys here, but I really like what they are doing and the impact they are doing. So whenever we are learning what's happening, what is the challenge, we are living them on the ground, we can bring them back to the lab, to the university, where we're going to work on these challenges and these innovations and offer them in real life. And this is where I talk about the role of a program as well that we have as UHG that's called Opération 7e Jour. We have the coordinator here with us as well.
What is it called?
Opération 7e Jour, 7th-day operation. It's where everyone is working and studying during the whole week, but on the 7th day, we go and we volunteer.
Okay.
And this is looking what are the challenges that are happening in reality, how can we collaborate, innovate, and bring solutions on the ground. Solutions related to construction, solutions related to food, to agriculture, to food security, to health. So every single program that we have works in Opération 7e Jour in order to find solutions to real problems that are happening. So that's our role as a university. We're not only about education, we're not only about research, we are about impact. How can we do through open innovation, as Donatello said, in a secure space at the university, a real impact and transforming lives through open innovation.
And do you think these initiatives can attract funding as well? Do you have that, like, for example, for your any project you work on? Can you help them get the funding, or do you as USG get funding?
Well, we get funding for various of them. We had medical products, we had some research that was as well funded. So we get a lot of funding, but as well university is supporting the different programs because we consider it as part of our values and our mission. And we get support in the execution and support with international NGOs with funding.
Okay. So basically what you all are doing, you are kind of bridging and filling that gap between the private sector or like the industry and the academia, because we hear a lot about the mistrust. I don't know if it's the same in Italy or in Algeria, but here we always hear that companies don't really trust academia to do the job and vice versa. So I think with the way you are going about that, you will kind of mitigate that and kind of show that this can actually be a win-win cooperation. Did you notice that at all in any of your interactions, or no? That kind of in the beginning they are hesitant to give you to come to you with a problem.
Yeah, what I face with the company, especially in the program that I mentioned before, Startup 10, in which we have more than 100 companies, we select 21 companies, and for me, has been really important how we can create bridges through the open innovation reality in the other places. So we have like some law now in Italy that wanted to foster the collaboration between already existing company, established company in Italy with foreign countries. And for me, innovation ecosystem of foreign countries are that leverage to kill this stereotype that really often Italian company has in front of African companies, African startups, for example. And once that they started to know the potential of this country, they start to do business. So I think that a reality like mine and also yours can also play an important role in delaying this kind of cultural barriers, for example. The other day I was speaking about, every time that we create programs, we speak about business, but for me it could be really useful to create some program, for example, really focalized on culture, because nobody speaks about culture, how you can interact better, how you can know better the country in which you wanted to create bridges. So otherwise it will be like colonialism if we are not able to go really deep into the roots of the culture of other countries. Totally. And to make this program really successful, and also because now we have, I would like to say, also a lot of money that comes from the government, and I really hope to invest in a proper way and creating real bridges with you.
Okay, I see. So let us continue on that mindset, the startup mindset that we are talking about, fostering that in the larger organizations. How important is it to kind of push this mindset into established companies and not just talk about startups themselves? Like for established companies that have a special, like a set way of doing things, are you doing any efforts or initiatives in creating more, let's say you called it entrepreneurship?
Yes, it's a super nice topic for me, because what I'm trying to do is also communicate that creating a startup, it's important not just to create a business for ourselves, but also when we wanted to go to work in already existing company. And this is the difference between entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship. An entrepreneur, it's a person that works in already existing company but has the mindset of a startup. And if you think today, most of the companies that are making real innovation, like, I don't know, Hire, like Spotify, like also Amazon and others, they are starting to act as small startups. For each new product that they are creating for the market, they are creating small startup, and so they give also to them a lot of autonomy, and this means also that we cannot use really a hierarchical approach for the job, and this means also for us to foster new ways of working. And this is also really important because often we are focused on creating experience for the customers, but it's also important to create experiences for people that work inside the company. And this is why, for example, design thinking is used to create experiences for employer. And so the employee experience is really important in this kind of approaches.
But do you think this is possible in an SME, not like in a big company like the ones you mentioned?
It's more simple in SMEs, but we need to, because they are smaller and they are not so big. Imagine that Hire, they have more than 500,000 people that works without manager. Imagine that every project, they are like small startups. So in SMEs, I think it's more simple, but we have to work on the culture. We have to communicate to them how important it is to use this kind of mindset that comes from a startup approach. And this is why Veritech and our institution, for example, can play a really important role to foster this mindset of startups in already existing company.
How are you doing that at Siam?
We do like investing a lot of time and money in educational program that affect not just the students, but put together also the company. For example, our master, it's open also to other people, not just students, but also people that belong to the company. Because we are not just creating the challenge, but we said, okay, our path, educational path, it's open also to you. Also, if you want to dedicate a short time for just one module. And we need to invest time also in education for the company, because we are taking for granted that companies are educated, but often is not.
So you would be proposing this to companies to send their personnel to get trainings or short master courses.
This is a solution. This is something that we did and we are still doing because it's really important. This depends also on the level of how you want it to go deep. But it's also important to create moments of dissemination to make like this kind of activity more effective. And I would like to say a little bit provocative. I think that now is the right time in which we can work on reverse mentoring. So are not just the big company that can mentoring the startup, but also the startup can mentoring big company in how to be more agile for a world that is changing completely, is changing so fast, and we need also new tools to approach the market and new mindset.
Yeah. I read a couple of days ago that one of the main skills going forward for the employment market is agility rather than ability. So I think startups have much more agility than the other companies. Great, thank you, Donato. So let's talk a bit more practically on the ground, and I will ask Nesrine, how can, since you already have some experience in that, how can regulatory frameworks accelerate open innovation between startups, academia, and corporations? And what lessons can you share from the Algerian experience?
Thank you for the question. I think that regulatory frameworks are very important because first they bring trust to the ecosystem. It allows to clarify the interaction and engagement of stakeholders. They risk the innovation. Second, I think that it also brings a structure to the ecosystem with clear schema, clear models, etc. Third, I think it comes with all the incentives that they can bring to the table that allows to enhance collaboration and co-creation and make it more attractive to companies. Since 2020, we had major change in the field in my home country. So, for example, we had the creation of a ministry that is dedicated to what we call knowledge economy, startups, and micro-enterprises.
Can you tell us the name in Arabic?
وزارة اقتصاد المعرفة المؤسسات الناشئة والمؤسسات المصغرة.
Okay.
Voilà. And this ministry, so with its creation, it led to major changes in the laws. For example, we had what we call label that are attributed by a national committee with both public and private experts. We had 3 types of labels. For example, label for innovative projects that are basically non-established yet business, startup for established one and operating one, and third one is for incubators that are basically all BSOs. And those incentives and those labels, gives access to different incentives. So, for example, tax exemption for startups.
Wow.
When they import also technology, infrastructure, it's also exempted. Priority in support program, access to public fundings. And with public fundings, there is also open innovation contracts and a lot of things. But for public funding, so we had also the creation of a national fund. It's called Algerian Startup Fund. That is a non-dilutive fund, but also act as a kind of business facilitator because it's a public one, so he has also the right public network, specifically for the startups that are mostly in B2B with public or also B2G startups. So we have this, I think, important mechanism. They funded something around 200 startups today, which is quite impressive.
Is it very hard to be selected for that, or no?
It's a bit selective, I think. They really target startups that are already shown tractions. But currently what we are seeing is also diversification of forms of funding, because the idea behind this creation of these first public funds is also, again, to give trust to the private sector to also fund. And now we are seeing creation. For example, there was this fund, it's called Orange Corner Fund, and it's with the Embassy of Netherlands, and it's a joint venture between the ISF and the Embassy of Netherlands. So there is a lot of forms that is coming and showing that this positivity signs of regulatory framework. And of course, I will add on that the open innovation, because it's maybe the center of our discussion today. So, which is basically incentives that are giving to big companies à hauteur de 30%, so 30% on reduction of imposable profit for the companies at, I think, a cap of 200 million dinar. Try to convert it. I think this is really giving a boost for big companies to go. It's a way also to promote startups, to say, okay, go sell your product, your services, we are backing you. And we also, for example, when it comes to public tenders, there is a law that it's a must in the national tenders that we have. 20% of them must go to SMEs and startups.
Amazing.
So this is also a very interesting thing. And maybe the last thing that I will add, maybe around for intellectual propriety, most of the startups that are labeled are exempted also from fees of IP. So if they want to have a patent or a brand or models, etc., so it's totally free.
Maybe the Algerian ministry can come and give us some trips or share open innovation with you guys. Would you like to add something to that?
I will add really fast. First, I think we can learn a lot from the experience.
You must come and spend like a couple months here and bring your...
These are things really important to implement and needed in Lebanon. I would like to talk a little bit about my experience in Ecuador while I was in the government. Really fast. So I'll mention just a couple of things that were critical for entrepreneurs. The first one, we had a committee between the public university, and the private sector, where the university spoke to the private sector and universities about the plans, the investment of the government, where we are going, the e-government plan, in a simple, easy way, and explaining the needs. In a way, universities can adapt based on the government long-term plans, and companies can propose projects to the government based on their needs. So this conversation was really important. The second thing, that the framework was not a one-time thing that they do for the companies and they give it to them. Companies, entrepreneurs were part of the conversation. So whenever there were new policies, they were there in the discussion, giving their input in order to make a difference in the policy. So having them present, having the companies present in the government, and the universities present in the government would make a huge difference in aligning the objectives of all three for the good of the country.
I wanted to ask Evan what he thinks about that topic. Do you think this is possible to reproduce in Lebanon, or can, for example, industrial hubs help establish that kind of initiative with the government?
I'm not a specialist on government matters, to be honest, but I can tell you that from our end, we're open for collaboration.
From your end, I want to know how you would view
so
that.
what we do, we work with a lot of entities, a lot of NGOs. We haven't tapped into the government yet. We're not there. But what we can do is continue to grow as we are. Our goal is to work with startups and SMEs and large corporations, whether that be to provide outsourcing, to co-create together, to open and innovate as a solution for these companies. But also, more importantly, we're forgetting about this, our students. So innovation has to come from these students. So we don't want to forget about those. So I would like to say just one thing also about our students at LEU also. We have something called workforce. So all of the projects and open innovation that we talk about is led by our students. So that should be at the hub of everything that we do, everything that we think about. More than that, outside of that, in terms of collaboration, we are open to every collaboration with every university, with every entity in Lebanon and abroad. We never say no to any opportunity that we get. The easy way to say it is we are extremely happy with what we do, and we are always wanting to grow. So any partnership, any networking opportunity, we jump on board. Why? Because we're a small fish in a big pond. We want to be a bigger fish in a bigger pond. Yeah.
That is very well said. I had an idea now in this panel that's not part of it, but I was thinking, why don't we incorporate business associations in that open innovation thing? Because then you have the network. Because really, the network is where you get opportunities to fund, to connect, to kind of add that into the mix. You know, and here we have several. Like now we have the RDCL, for example, and the Lebanon Works. There are many of them that those could also be part of the equation. No? So I was talking to myself, basically. Okay, so to close, now we discussed all the wonderful ways that open innovation has made like a kind of surface to the top in the last few years, and it all sounds great, but if you can all give us briefly an idea of the challenges you have faced of different natures. So what is because everything nice has to have
I can start if you want, just get the
yes,
ball rolling. I think the biggest challenge usually is not the actual projects, it's not the actual execution, it's usually, you said it before, it's trust.
Yes.
It's getting that trust from the companies to give us their blessing to go ahead and do a project for them as a university. Because there is this separation between university, academia, and industry. We're trying to break that mold, but it's quite hard. The best way to break this trust, to build this trust and break the habit and break the mold, is by changing the system in universities internally. So usually in universities you have purchasing, you have offices for this, business management, and if you want to buy a pencil, it might take you up to 18 months. I'm sure everyone here knows who works at a university. It takes forever, you know, the bureaucracy. I have to sign with 75 VPs just to buy a chewing gum or a paper clip. So the best thing to do is throw away all that and build a new infrastructure that allows you to be super fast so that we can do enough. فينا نلبي يعني فينا نلبي الشرك. We can do enough for the companies. That is when they can start to trust us. And that's what we do at the Industrial Hub. We've built a system at LAU operating independently, so to speak, that's fast-tracked.
Exactly.
So we don't, basically, it's just everything's accelerated from purchasing to billing, to paying for salaries, to recruiting, to hiring.
So that's
everything is
separated
fast,
from
and that's
the
how we build
university.
trust.
Okay, great.
And that's
Anyone
the thing.
else would like to add a challenge that you're facing?
I think something that would be complementary with what just you said is the fact that we are seeing that the big companies doesn't have units or innovation
Yes.
units. So this, from the beginning, is eradicating any potential person in the company that will understand clearly the assignment and understand the output of such operation. The second thing that I observed, I think a lot of startups are suffering from this, is the fact it's maybe a structural change, but we need to say that procurement processes and timelines of big corporations are not the same for startups. A startup can die within 3 months, 6 months. When it comes to big companies, they can be very slow, for example, in payments. They can be very rigid in their processes, etc. So I think these kind of things are really killing maybe the dynamic.
So we have agility, we have trust, we have, let's say, HR, the related person in the big organization. What else?
Well, I can add to that the cultural clash between the different areas, the clash between the academia and the importance of research and impactful research and publication, the interest of the government in having policies,
Yes.
and the interest of companies, especially small companies, in a very fast, applicable innovation.
Yes.
So how can we bring them all together to have adaptable policies, education that is based on the needs of the market and not only the research, and industry that can align with their government and with the education that's coming. So having all three together is really important, breaking the cultural, cultural clash.
Donato?
From my point of view, one of the most important challenges is if I want to fight the stereotypes for the Italian company, I need to provide to them quality. I mean, like startup that they, for example, they are already face the market, they already tested the market, and this is something really important. And another challenge is we don't have to see like a model that doesn't belong to us. I really wanted to create with you like sort of a Mediterranean approach to the innovation that is far away from what happened, for example, in Silicon Valley, where we have just startups that grow digitally, and how we can support also a growth that is not so exponential, but a little bit more linear, that has also an impact on the environment, also on the population that they belong. So it's a big challenge to create a new approach, a Mediterranean way of doing business. This
So
can
a
be
cultural aspect as well.
and cultural aspect as well.
Okay, so I'm being told that we've extended our time, but it's very nice discussing this with you. Thank you for, even to me, that was so enriching. I hope the audience like it. Did you like it? Yes? Thank you for being here.